Hi, welcome to On the Fence. I'm Vicky.
And I'm Erik.
And today we're gonna see Etna.
From Disgaea.
I don't know much about the character, but I freaking love this statue. I love the design, I love the pose, I love the attitude, I love the base. I love everything.
Well, Etna is from the series Disgaea, and she comes from the first one. And she's in all sorts of other ones after that, side story ones, all sorts of things made by the company Nippon Ichi. They just throw her in everything. She kind of became like a mascot of the franchise. I love this character. She's amazing. The English voice actress to her is awesome, and the Japanese one is also awesome. Like, it's just all around a really great series.
Yeah, I love this statue. I think the design is great. I love the colors. I love the pose. I love the base. I basically love everything about it. And I don't even know about, well, I know about the game because of you. He has a bunch of art book about the game as well. That's super cool. And that's pretty much everything I know about this game.
Well, the artist is someone named Takahito Harada. So he does all the artwork for, I'm going to say, most of the Disgaea franchise. I'm sure that at one point here and there, like, they got other artists on board, but for the most part, he's the one that does it all. Also, the sculptor to this statue is someone named Bubba. That's right. Bubba. Well, Bubba, you did you did a pretty great job. It's very accurate and it depicts her very well. It looks like the illustration. There's a drawing of her in this exact same pose, and it really resembles it very, very well.
On the spot.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the more intricate details. She's made out of PVC.
PVC.
No ABS this time around. So it's all PVC plastic, this whole statue. The release date was, let's see, May. Like, when I put a number down for, like, the release date, it would be like 05. I'm like, what is that again? Is it like May or April? So I have to count. And not just count in my head. I also use my fingers when I count because I am a child. Oh, man. I'm sorry for all of you that use your fingers and count out loud like I do. I didn't mean to insult you and call you children. It's just that I refrain my intelligence for other things. Counting? All right, so let's get into more of the counting details. So, May 2006 is her release date. Her height is 220 millimeters, and she was supposed to be 210. So, she's an extra 10 millimeters extra just for you, and that doesn't include the base she's on. She is weighed at 152 grams. That's like a decent heft to her, especially considering her price point. We'll get to that in a moment. Her scale is 1/7, so she is a scale figure, and at 4,800 yen, that's like $50 for a scale figure.
Wow.
That's incredible. But it's 2006, so if this was like today, with the same kind of plastics and the same kind of work put into her, but let's just, like, let's stick with the pricing. I think it would probably be like $80, maybe $80 or $90. And then she would immediately skyrocket in value, although this figure is actually pretty much the same value that like on her release date. She hasn't really gone up that much in value, which is intriguing considering she's so well made.
Yes.
However, she is based off of the original Disgaea 1 model of herself. Over the years, when they come out with Disgaea 2, 3, 4, Makai Kingdom, and all these other things where, like, maybe she makes a guest appearance, her clothing has gotten skimpier, and she's gotten, hard to believe, but thinner. Like, just the art style became more stick figure-ish, I guess you could say, and a lot more edgier. And because of that, she's evolved so much. So I'm guessing a lot of people might prefer her newer art style look because she looks more cartoony. Whereas this still looks very anime, but it kind of looks more classic anime, and it doesn't represent Harada's art style as much as I'm sure some people would like.
Moving on to her face. She has gigantic eyes that are kind of a reddish brown. Her eyebrows are the same color as her hair. She has kind of a little grin, like, a little smile, cutie smile. She has a bit of red on her cheek. There's a gradient on the skin. Super cute pointy ears with little skeleton head that looks that she made herself or it was bone or something. They made it look like it was homemade kind of earrings. Super cute. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Well, there's not much I can say about the face. You pretty much got it spot on. It again looks more like classic anime as opposed to Harada's actual art style, which has evolved to look a lot more like the shapes are just more geometrical. This is really soft and really smooth. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I actually love all of it. So I think that this is really, really nice. I really like the eyes. I think they're really cool. Like, it looks like the first game. It's pretty good.
She has a darker line on top of her eye to make it look like black eyelashes.
Yeah, they didn't give her actual eyelashes like they'll do on so many other anime statues. In this one, it's really just that thick bar like you had mentioned. And it doesn't actually have any, like, feathering to it. So it's just, I mean, I guess if you were to just look at the face and nothing else, it could be very androgynous.
Mm-hmm. It's cartoony.
Yeah, it is. Going into her hair is, I love it so much. It's very, cheerleader, like upbeat, peppy kind of person, and that goes great with her kind of personality and her cheerleading, upbeat, peppy attitude in the series.
Really spiky too.
Yeah, very spiky. I love the pigtail spikes so much. It almost looks like a bunch of shark fins or fins that would be on like some sort of aquatic aggressive predator.
They made her bang being like the connection with the rest of the hair, so it looks really smooth even if there's the line to put like the extra bang on top of the head.
But it is still pretty noticeable, and
Yep.
the reds actually aren't exactly the same kind of reds. Now, this could have to do with the fact that I've had this statue since 2006. I mean, I try to keep my stuff out of direct sunlight. I'm very careful with my things, but you know, over the years, plastic does change, especially if it's like cheaper quality plastic, and at like the price point this was at the time. I mean, what an amazing price point again for the statue. I can't get over how good that is. It's such a great figure.
The separation of her hair in the middle, instead of having a straight line, they made it like a little V line, so you don't get to see the skin. It's just hair. I like that little detail. And on her side of her head too, she has those lines going like, so it makes it look like a natural way of hair to be pulled in the back, but they're like hidden under the bangs, so it's really, really subtle, but it's a nice little touch.
Excellent sculpting, Bubba. I just gotta say,
Yes.
he's pretty, or she's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
The elastics are purple, like a shiny purple, like the rest of her outfit. And there's like a few gradients. It goes to like a pinkish red to an orange kind of color in her hair. It moves around those two. Yeah.
Yeah, the metallic paint is really nice and actually has a bit of gradient painting on it as well. I love her neck collar. I love the neck collar so much with the giant loop, and I like how she's just holding it. I think that's really cute and it's really cool.
Well made.
Yep, very well made.
The skin, like, let's talk about the skin of her body, because there's a lot of airbrush on her to make it look natural, and you have darker places that are really defined, and it's a good quality painting job.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
I love how on her back, her wings aren't just the same color. It's not just like purple wings. The wings actually slowly gradient into the color of her skin. It's not 100% accurate to her skin color, but you could see that it's slowly changing to become that, and that as a concept I think is amazing. I love that so much. Like, when I draw demonic characters with wings, I try to add that effect because this statue inspired me from so many years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
and they're really shiny. The wings are really shiny compared to the rest of the body, the skin that's matte of the character.
Yeah, it looks like it has a gloss finish on it.
Mm-hmm.
And her frame is very petite, very lolly. She is several thousand years old. I think she's like 2,000 or 20,000 or something like that. I forget because it's been a very long time since I played Disgaea. But she's very old, but that's a classic anime thing. She looks like she's 12, but hold on. She's 20,000 years old.
Oh, jeez.
But she's
what a surprise.
She's an awesome character. So she's got a very small frame. Her tail looks amazing, and I love how even on her skirt, you can see the tail like as if it's being pushed up against her skirt. So she's wearing like a really tight skirt, and you can see the tail through it, which is just cool. A lot of attention to detail on that.
Mm-hmm. I would like to talk about the gloves. She has some part of her costume that really look like it's PVC, but you know the clothing that's PVC, like a latex kind of suit, and you can feel the folds on where her elbows are and her wrists. And it looks so spot on how it would look if it was actual gloves. I really like that detail. There's buckles everywhere on her costume. She has some on her arms, on her hips, on her boots, and it looks flipping cool.
Also, where the gloves meet up with the skin, you can actually see the skin beveling a bit, so it's like popping out just a bit, so it looks like it's tighter on her. It's the same thing with her stockings that she's wearing. You have that same effect, which is really well done. I also love all the buckles, by the way. I think that's really cool. I love tons of buckles. The rings that she has around her wrists are super cool and super nice too. Very well done. Her hands are big, but it gives off that nice cartoony vibe, which is really cool.
Yeah, big head, big hands.
Yeah, and her holding her tail too feels very natural. Like it feels like if, you know, you're fidgeting, you've got, like, she's fidgeting. She's, like, messing around with the loop on her neck. She's, like, holding her tail, probably playing with it as if you were playing with your hair or you'd be playing with your fingers or something like that. It's very real.
But it's not connected to it. So the tail is not, like, stick to the hand. It's actually moving a little bit and it's not connected to it. So... It's a nice...
the tail actually comes in as a separate piece, so you actually install it into her. Like, for all her pieces, is basically base, body, tail. The tail itself was really hard to push in and stay there. I think I put like a tiny little piece of modeler's glue to make sure it stays there properly, because I remember it falling out all the time when I had gotten her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing for her stockings. Same thing as her arm piece. They look like they're a bit tighter on her leg at the top, so it looks like you say beveled for the feeling that it's strapped on her leg for reals. And she has those little folds on her knees, and it looks great. Makes it look really on spot. The metallic paint they use for the overall costume, the purple, is really pearlized purple, and it's a nice touch.
Yeah. And it really resembles the Etna illustration used in the series. Like, it really, like, all these purples and even the color magenta red that they use, like, and even her skin color, it really, because, like, the colors are more toned down in Disgaea. They're not as vibrant. Like, over the years, they become more and more vibrant, but back then they were very pastel-y, and this really has that kind of feeling to it.
Yeah, the tail has a bit of that pearlized feeling to it too, and the wings as well.
Yeah.
But the wings on top, yes, and under, no. So it's interesting. They made it like there's parts that are different.
I like how thick her tail is. It's not super thin. Like, it actually looks like a thick tail. Like, and I like the gradient too. It's very beautiful.
The bracelet are metallic, some kind of a bronze color, and it's it looks like metal.
Let's move down to those boots.
The
All right,
boots.
I was going to talk about them, but you know, I know you're excited about it.
You go.
Okay, they're very lovely boots. They have excellent boat clips on them. The eyes and teeth on them look very pretty. Now it's your turn to mention what you'd like to say about these boots.
They look like little creatures. They have eyes and teeth, and They're just so flipping cool. I like them so much. I would like a pair of those boots for myself. I think it's really cool. They have the buckles with the purple of the same paint they use for the rest of the costume, so it's a nice touch. And they did some airbrush on the shoes, so their parts are darker. It gives them a nice shape, and they look really cartoony. I just think they're super cool, and I love them.
You know, there's not, especially back then, there weren't a lot of designs that were like this, and I'm pretty certain that, like, a lot of things nowadays are inspired by Disgaea from back in the day, because her boots make me think hardcore Star versus the Forces of Evil, because her boots have faces on them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other franchises, that do this with their boots that I can't help but wonder, like, how long it's been going around before Disgaea put it in. Now, for sure it exists.
If you know,
oh, yeah.
send us stuff.
So let's talk about the base. Alright, so underneath the base, we've got the whole, like, 2003 Nippon Ichi Software Incorporated Made in China logo written on there. 2003, maybe that's when the game came out. That would make sense. The top of the base looks really nice. I like the rocky texture. I definitely would have put tons of red in there to make it look like there was magma glowing underneath it. I mean, that would have felt more Disgaea-ish. Maybe they could have had her standing on something that looked fancy, like like a marbleized kind of floor, because she likes the fancier things, this person, and she spent most of her time in the Harl's castle, which still looked pretty nice. This base doesn't really have anything to do with her. But regardless of all of what I just said,
it's super cool.
It is cool. It's a nice base. It looks really nice.
I like it a lot.
For something so simple, and that probably took the sculptor not too much time to do, because it's very, organic, making things like this. I would expect things like this on much more statues. Yeah. I mean, shoot, we've got this girl right here that has, the Flash base over here, or Shazam, or whatever, and it's kind of just like you could have just put maybe, seriously, 10 minutes of work to do something like this. I mean... And
the weight of the base makes it so it feels stable. You know, even though if it's small, it's still really stable. I'm not scared that this statue is going to fall over at all.
Yeah, it's very thick plastic. Like, everything about this is thick plastic. There's no hollowed out parts or anything, and I guess that's because the whole thing is just solid PVC.
So, overall, would you jump over that fence?
I had been given this statue by a very close friend when she went on her super fun trip to Japan all those years ago, and I love this thing so much. It's one of my favorite statues of all time. I feel like I'm forever indebted to this woman because she got me something so amazing. And yes, even if she didn't get me this, I most probably would have bought it because I love it so much, and I love the character, and I love the franchise.
Yeah. And it's a good excuse to go visit Japan.
That's right. And she's super cheap. Like, even today, if you wanted to pick her up, for an older statue, she's going for so little for the amount of quality and detail put into her. It's so surprising.
I personally really love Monster Girls. I think she's a really cute little demon. She's adorable. I love her... everything, like I said before. I think she's great. Even though I didn't play the video game, this is one of my favorite statues that we own as well. So, that tells it all.
Hopefully this helped you come to your conclusion on if you're still on the fence or not to this thing.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say something.
What's up?
What's nice, I find, about the statue, other than everything, is that it looks professional. You don't have mold lines. You don't have blurs of paint anywhere. Everything is super on point. It's a good quality statue.
It is. And I just like to bring up the overall pose. It's beautiful. You can feel like this person has some weight to her, but at the same time, she herself is able to carry her weight as if she weighs nothing and she's floating. It's really, really nice. And the whole playful... attitude, it looks like if you were to meet this person, you'd be like, oh, she looks nice, before she probably impales you. So I hope you had fun today. If you have anything to add to this, if you already have her and you want to talk about how much you love this character, I would love to talk about it because she's so awesome. And if you have any comments or anything, feel free to write them in the comment section below. Leave a like and subscribe if you don't mind. I mean, it costs you nothing and it gives us some sweet popularity. And we appreciate that.
We really do. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
next time.